Language and culture. It's difficult to think in the process of English language, the evolution that it had, and the mixes of languages, especially with the German dialects and another culture, that gave sense and enriched with many new words the language. If we go back 1,000 years, however, we find that many words that we use in this time come of Old English. Just take a look to all the periods in the development of English to know the principal characteristics of the language. To interact with a language means to do so with the culture which is its reference point. We could not understand a culture without having direct access to its language because of their intimate connection. A particular language points to the culture of a particular social group. Learning a language, therefore, is not only learning the alphabet, the meaning, the grammar rules, and the arrangement of words, but it's also learning the behavior of the society and its cultural customs. Thus, language teaching should always contain some explicit reference to the culture, the whole from which the particular language is extracted. Grow up in a particular society. We informally learn how to use gestures, glances, slight changes in tone or voice, and other auxiliary communication devices to alter or de-emphasize what we say and do. We learn these culturally specific techniques over many years, largely by observing and imitating. Language is culture and culture is language. How link English and Spanish language? English and Spanish have a common ancestor, known as Indo-European, and sometimes English and Spanish can seem even closer because English has adopted many words from French and language Romance like Spanish. There are many similarities between English and Spanish. Both languages use the Roman alphabet. That knowledge helps build a phonetics and phonetical foundation. 30% to 40% of all words in English have a related word in Spanish, with similar sounds, appearance, and meaning. This helps students transfer that word knowledge into their second language, except for a couple of words or their exceptions. Adjectives before nouns in English and nouns before adjectives in Spanish. Sentences in both languages have the same basic structure. Learning to read and write uses the same basic process, phonemics, fluency, and comprehension and writing mechanics. When teachers and students know the basic similarities between two languages, it saves time and guesswork, and students transfer their knowledge of Spanish literacy into English literacy. How do I think the English language impacts in our Mexican culture? English language impacts Mexican culture because the globalization is a modern term especially indicated as the cause of changes in societies and in the world economic that result in an increased fundamental of international trade and cultural exchange. English is the most commonly spoken language in Mexico. Nowadays, younger Mexicans are keep on obtaining higher levels of education than previous generations, and learning English is their top priority. They study English because they have better jobs opportunities and better quality of life, of expanding of the economical market and having proper education. Thanks.